Hey everybody, I'm Nicole.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Sarah, and together we're the co-founders of Whale Tales, a living library of cetacean stories.
And today, finally, we are chatting about minkies.
So sit back and enjoy as we dive right in.
Hello, and welcome to Minke May, which is not a thing that we coined, actually. The Pacific Whale Watching Association coined that last year. Aaron, our good friend, and I just found out about it 3 days ago, and we've been planning this episode for months, so that worked out majestically. Hooray! Minke Whales!
Ooh.
If you didn't know, they are the smallest of the rorqual. I can never say that word. They're the smallest of the baleen. They're not baleen, I'll get in trouble. They're the smallest of the rorqual whales, while also being the most abundant and widely distributed, found throughout tropical, temperate, and polar regions.
So they are baleen whales. They're just
They are baleen whales. They're just, you can't say the smallest of the baleen whales without somebody coming at you with a dwarf species somewhere.
So there are technically two recognized species of minke whales. We've got the common minke whale that's found pretty much everywhere in the northern hemisphere, including here off Vancouver. And also there's the Antarctic minke whale. Oh, sorry, the common minke whale is Balanoptera acutorostrata.
Yep.
Acutorostrata. And then the Antarctic minke whale is Balanoptera bonarensis. And it is found almost everywhere in the southern hemisphere. They do have overlapping territory around the eastern coastline of South America, South Africa, and Australia.
But wait, because you know us, and you also know whales, of course it is not that simple.
No, why would it be? That would just
Why would it be?
Too easy.
Dwarf minke whales exist, and they are an unnamed subspecies, so they don't get their own specific name, but they are a subspecies. And here's the super fun part. They are a subspecies of the common, so northern hemisphere minke whale, but they occur almost exclusively in the southern hemisphere.
Delightful.
And then, in the northern hemisphere, the North Atlantic and North Pacific common minke whales have separate subspecies designation. So they are actually Balanoptera acutorostrata for the North Atlantic.
Someone was really lazy on that end.
Yeah, it is really lazy. And Balanoptera acutorostrata scamoni in the North Pacific. I'm probably not saying any of that right, but the point, as always, is basically if you are any other cetacean other than an orca, you can be a subspecies, nobody cares.
We're not salty about that still.
Not at all.
No.
So dumb.
God, it's just like, there's like a meme in there of just like all of the baleen whales and dolphins just lining up, and then just somebody saying, not for you. Like,
No.
soup guy from
You have
Seinfeld
to
or
be
something.
an eco-type.
Okay, centering myself, trying to not get mad about this, because I'm always mad about it. Minke whales. Yes, let's do it. Minke whales are relatively small compared to their baleen relatives. They are 7 to 10 meters in length and weighing up to 10 tons. They have sleek, streamlined bodies that are built for speed, like Tom Cruise, and capable of reaching speeds of 37 to 39 kilometers per hour in bursts, and maintaining a normal cruising speed of 5 to 25 kilometers per hour.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
big
quite
range.
speedy.
Yeah.
The scientific name of Balanoptera acutorostrata translates to winged whale, Balanoptera, a sharp snout. Speaking to that pronounced streamlined shape, and one of their most distinctive yet very hard to see features from land, which are stripes on their pectoral fins. They have a distinct white armband marking on their pectoral fins, which is unique in the northern minke whales. And then other than that, they're all dark gray in color with some white on the underside. They do have some lighter streaks on their mid-back and a light chevron marking behind their head.
I like the term chevron marking. So for those
Indeed.
little like V stripey things. It's nice.
Cute, cute.
What else can we tell you about minkies? Well, they are usually solitary or seen in small groups of up to 3. But we're going to come back to that when we do our fun flipper fact. So just keep in mind, as always, big disclaimer, this is what science currently says, but science is constantly changing, and also sometimes the right hand of science isn't talking to the left hand. So, but that is the prevailing, when we talk about kind of like social structure, the prevailing idea is that minkies are usually solitary or in small groups, kind of like harbor porpoises that we talked about recently.
Yep.
But sometimes they can be seen in larger groups of up to 400 while feeding.
my
Now,
God.
that would be incredible to see.
Insane and smelly.
So smelly. Side note, because I didn't actually include it in the notes because I figured one of us would bring it up.
Bring it up.
Who have a nickname, being Stinky Minkies. Lindsay, would you like to talk more about
Well,
that?
I
And then I'll
don't.
come back to
I've never seen a minke whale. I just know that they smell real bad, and I
Yes.
don't know what it smells like, and I don't know why, and I don't know if it is all the
I think
time.
it's just their, isn't it just their whale breath?
Yeah.
Like
Is
their-
it just their
whale
breath?
breath.
Because
Yeah.
gray
Yeah.
whale breath smells horrible. So
Okay.
why are they not stinky gray whales?
because it doesn't rhyme.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured as well. I have seen a minkie. I saw a minkie my very first
That's
year
what I thought. Yeah,
out.
whale
Yeah.
watching. Yeah.
Yeah, in the North Pacific when I was a naturalist. I saw minkies and Dall's porpoises and then never again.
Yeah, I saw Dell's porpoises in Banfield. So it's not a smell all the time. It's just their breath.
It's just their breath. Yeah.
That's so dumb. All whales have bad breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like they're not actually. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think they're actually smellier than
No.
other ones.
Other
It's
whales?
just a funny name. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my assumption.
Probably because they were small and they got bullied.
Yeah, poor little minkies. Anyways, going back to sort of like social structure and things like that, they do become sexually mature around 3 to 8 years of age when they are 3 to 8 years old, and then they are at that time about 23 feet long. So big, but still little.
Not really.
because they're a
Yeah,
minkie.
they're just little.
One of the size comparisons that I found was basically like a stretch limo, which I don't see those around very much anymore. They seemed
No.
much more of a thing when I was,
But that's
graduating high
because
school.
like Hummer limos exist now.
Yeah, or like stretch hummers now.
Party buses and stretch Hummers. Yeah, which is sad because I miss a good stretch limo. That was
Yeah.
some good times. Prom.
Their gestation period is 10 to 11 months long, and females give birth approximately once every year to year and a half because they are typically weaning their calves after 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. Nice.
Yeah.
Minkies feed by side lunging into schools of prey and gulping large amounts of water. Seabirds, which are attracted to concentrated prey just below the surface, are sometimes associated with minke whales feeding or foraging. They opportunistically feed on crustaceans, plankton, small schooling fish, anchovies, dogfish, capelin, coalfish, cod, eels, herring, mackerel. There's so many on this list. Oh my god. Just a lot of fish. There's a lot of fish that they eat. And in the southern hemisphere, the dwarf minke whale subspecies feeds on a combination of krill and myctophid fish. No, what's that word? What does that mean? What's myctophid?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Lanternfish.
Lantern fish.
Cool.
Yeah, Myctophidae. I knew it sounded familiar. Minke whales are not considered endangered or threatened, but they are protected under the Marine Mammal Protection Act in North America. During whaling times, they weren't hunted as heavily as other species, possibly because of their size, but they are now hunted under the whaling exceptions in Greenland, Japan, and Norway.
Right. There are some other current threats facing the minke whales, even though, again, they are considered to be kind of like the most abundant. They can get entangled in fishing gear. Ocean noise can cause disturbances. Habitat degradation and vessel strikes are all threats for them. But you know what else is a threat? Killer whales. Or orcas, but they are a really important food source for bigs, orcas, and in the southern hemisphere, basically any orca that eats whales, because they aren't as necessarily dietarily distinct in the southern hemisphere.
Oh, it's almost like they're different and they eat different things and they should be maybe considered different species.
Maybe. But there are some killer whales in Antarctic waters whose diet consists of 85% minke whale.
That's a lot.
It's a
A
lot.
lot of minke whales.
It really is. And then this seemed like the appropriate place to talk about the other kind of like well-ish known, not great thing about minke whales, which is that ever since 2017, they have been the subject of what is called an unusual mortality event, which is another much less on the nose name for mass stranding events. So minke whales...
Well, it can mean other things,
True.
Not just stranding. Like you may, if you've listened to News in the Salish Sea, there was a gray whale one, and it looks like there's now another gray whale one about to happen off the coast of the Pacific, as well as the blob from 2015 and stuff that was causing a UME in humpbacks, I think.
Right.
So, but yes, I think it was started with strandings, and then climate change, and we just messed everything up. So now we have to use it for other things. Yay!
But basically, since 2017, it is for minkies. It is strandings. They typically strand on the Atlantic side between Maine and Georgia, and there's a chart that we'll include in the show notes here. But basically, there's sort of between 15 and 33 strandings a year.
Oh.
Yeah, the highest so far was 33 in 2024, and there was 27 in 2017, and then it's been kind of just all over the place. The lowest year was 2022. I thought it would be 2021 after the start of the pandemic, but no, it was 2022. There was 14.
Between Maine and Georgia, that's a lot of America.
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's just like, that's like half the coast. Most.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we know anything about why? Just normal
Absolutely not.
stranding questions? Cool.
Yeah. They have been able to do necropsies of more than 60% of the whales, and it does show that there's kind of like a lot of different things. It's not consistent across all of them. There have been vessel strikes, there has been infectious disease, but yeah, just a really odd thing.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that like any whale can't strand. Of course they can. But what is interesting is the page that we'll link to. It shows that like there's been a noticeable trended increase since 2017, because it goes back through. I think it starts in 2012, and it was like 5 to 10 a year as opposed to like 25 to 30. That's a big difference.
Yeah, and the fact that it's considering those high numbers, like it's not just the 1 year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, that's not enough to make them sort of like listed in any particular way, because they are still a really plentiful species, but something we should note and be aware of, and I'm glad that there's research going into that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we continue with the rest of the episode, we want to take a moment to tell you about how you can support our podcast and everything we do at Whale Tales.
You can join us by becoming a patron at patreon.com/whaletales. You can join for $1 a month at the porpoise level, $5 a month at the dolphin level, or $10 a month at the whale level.
And each level comes with a variety of perks, like polls or extended interviews or extra podcasts. You can produce your own Fun Flip or Fact segment of the pod. You can vote in a poll to decide what that segment will be, like some of our patrons did for this month. And if you are a dolphin or a whale level patron, then you get access to 1 or 2 extra podcasts that we do once a month. We do Journal Club or Whale Tales Watches, where we either, for Journal Club, we read a scientific article and talk about it, and we had a really cool one this month, right? It is this month?
Yep.
About whale pee and how important it is.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you so much to all of our patrons. You are really, really amazing.
You are.
Agreed.
You're the best.
If you aren't able to support us financially, there's still lots of other things you can do to help us out. You can leave us a rating or a review on your podcast platform of choice. This will help other people find the podcast. And you can also just tell your sciencey cetacean podcast friends about everything that we're doing at Whale Tales so that they can join along too.
And you can also follow us on social media at whaletales_org, where you can send us feedback so we can keep making the podcast even better.
Yes, we had a Spotify comment. We get a lot of fun Spotify comments now that they exist, but we had one about one of our Orca Month podcast episodes that didn't update on Spotify, and it's been 2 years, and I didn't know. And Spotify was like, "Huh, that's weird," but it's fixed now. Thanks,
No.
thanks,
Yay!
person who commented. So, yeah, there we go.
That is weird. Hooray!
Okay,
Okay, it's time.
you're here. We haven't had a song in forever. I feel
I
like.
know.
Yay! It's time for Fun Flipper Fact. It's time for Fun Flipper Fact. Fun Flipper Facts are fun for everyone.
Hooray! I loved it.
Hooray! Me too! And today's Fun Flipper Fact is still about Minke Whales and was voted on by our patrons.
Hooray!
Yay! And because it's been a while since I've been here for a Fun Flipper Fact segment to sing the song, I actually picked 2 of the 3 options.
How dare you?
Patrons were voting on. So the winning vote was for a Fun Flipper Fact about Minke Whale vocalizations. Ask and ye shall receive, patrons, because Minke Whale vocalizations are cool! They're so cool, and they have the best names. Why? Because one of them is called the Star Wars sound.
I know, I'm recording this on May 3rd. It's so close.
Oh, it's amazing. I can't do it because I am not a Minke Whale
Or a lightsaber.
or a lightsaber. But we're going to include a few links in the show notes to some YouTube videos that have some really cool recordings of their vocalizations. But Star Wars sound is not the only cool name for the various sounds that Minke Whales make. They also have distinct sounds called clicks or thumps. Well, I guess clicks and thumps and ratchets and boings and growls and rumbles and down sweeps and booms.
Wow. The Minke Whale researchers are cool people. I
They
think.
are cool people. They're very cool people. And in 2018, an article was published in July of 2018 by Jared Towers, who was able to record vocalizations of common Minke whales in the eastern North Pacific feeding grounds, and that had never been done before. And so there's a link to that article too.
That's awesome.
Now, other fun flipper fact is about where Minke whales get their name. And I think this is funny because it's really short and sweet, which is kind of how Fun Flipper Facts started. And it's also one of those facts that, like, the exact same thing is quoted and referenced in at least 10 different sources I found. So it could be true, but it could also be one of those, like, well, this person said it and then they found it somewhere else, because there's no more information. I have yet to find a source that goes into any more detail than the sentence I'm about to say. Minke whales got their name after a Norwegian whaler named Menke, who mistook them for blue whales.
Oh, the optimism and poor measuring skills are delightful to imagine.
Measuring scope on the ocean is hard, but
It is,
But
but
still.
yeah,
feel like-
yeah. I guess it's just more the optimism of like, oh my gosh, look at that whale! It's so big, it must be a blue whale,
Must
and then
be a
it's
blue whale.
yeah, and then all his friends made fun of him forever.
Only whale he's ever seen. So, like,
Yeah,
so a Minke whale is a stretch limo, and we know blue whales are the length of 3 football fields. So how do we put those together? It's like
three,
how many-
not three, three football fields,
Three football
school
fields?
buses.
Three school buses.
Three school
A
buses.
football field. How many stretch limos can fit on a football field?
a lot. Like 10?
I don't know. How long are football fields? I don't know.
No.
No, they're not football field long. They're like 25 meters.
Blue whales, yes.
3 school buses.
3 school buses. Well, there's that old joke of if you laid a blue whale out on a basketball court, the game would be canceled.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah. 25,
Like,
25 meters.
they're like a third of the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
who knows? There's no more information about Menke, the Norwegian whaler.
We probably
Not
went
even
back to
another
Norway
name.
in shame.
Yeah,
Lived in Norway in his sweaters and was like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry I did that. So there we go. Enjoy your Fun Flipper Facts. Thank you, patrons.
Hooray! Yes, thank you, patrons. I'm glad we were able to finally get another poll in there.
Yay.
Sweet. I'd like to do those things. Next up, we have our Minke whale tale from Judith. Yay! Everybody's favorite storyteller, Judith. She's got an incredible story of a Minke whale mugging. We are so grateful to have Judith come on and share another one of her incredible whale encounters. And be sure to check out the show notes for the link to the story because her pictures are also amazing. Yay! Thanks, Judith!
Hello, Whale Tales. Thank you very much for giving me the chance to record another short story. This is Judith, usually working in Iceland, Antarctica and Mexico, and you have asked me to record a short memory about minke whales, and I think maybe many whale watching guides can agree that minke whales can be quite tricky. They are so beautiful, and I personally would love to see them underwater in Australia, where I think they do it really responsibly because you just hold on to a line. But I have never done that. And of course, they can be a little bit underwhelming when you see them from the surface. They can be really hard to watch and pop up so quickly. And sometimes we just know there's a minke whale around in Iceland, but we just can't get all the passengers to see it. And we actually sometimes have to give free tickets to passengers to come back, even though we had a whale and we found a whale, but we know not everybody has seen them. But of course, they are also famous for sometimes getting friendly and curious. And I've been lucky enough to see that briefly in Antarctica, where we had an Antarctic minke whale circle the ship in Antarctica. So it went all the way round our big Antarctic ship in glorious weather. But I think my most memorable minke whale experience was in Iceland, and I've now done thousands of trips in Iceland, and this is the only time we have had a super curious minke whale. It was quite rough weather. I think it was 2016, and we had quite a few people, unfortunately, who were getting seasick. But when we had a whale just circling the boat for around, 30, 35, 40 minutes, we were not going to move the boat. We were going to wait for the whale to get bored before we moved the boat. So I remember saying sorry to a few seasick people who just wanted to go home and telling them, sorry, we couldn't. But we had what was probably a young minke whale circle us, stick its head out of the water frequently all around the boat, gave everybody a chance to look at it. And what was so unusual was to see a minke whale's eye. I think that was so cool. And just the shape of their nose, they're so different to the whales that we're more often seeing curious, like the grey whales and the humpback whales. But I think what made it even more special in a country like Iceland is that unfortunately minke whales were still being hunted back then. And I remember us all just thinking, please, please go safe and don't do this to the wrong boat, little minke whale, once it decided to leave us. And sad to say, after all these years of me working in Iceland and telling people every day on the boat that the whaling was probably coming to an end, because that's how everybody felt in Iceland. Public opinion is so against it now, but the one super rich man that wants to keep it going has so many friends in government. I'm very, very sad to say that minke whaling is starting again in Iceland this summer after a long hiatus where they haven't been hunting them. So that's a very sad piece of news, but I hope you like my story. I'm sorry it's ending on a depressing note, but let's all fight together to hopefully end whaling forever. Thank you so much for giving me the chance.
Okay, so we're just going to end on a quick call to action that we've definitely done before. Lots of people have done before, but I was lucky enough to see the grey whale in English Bay a couple of days ago as of recording. And I just did a post today, actually, of a grey whale versus a log that I saw in English Bay about 10 minutes later. And as we all know, grey whales look like logs, and grey whales are boring, except when you see them as a surprise in English Bay on your walk. But it's a great reminder that to be whale-wise, basically, is what I'm saying. Regardless of whether or not you are encountering grey whales that are pretending to be logs or flippy little dolphins that are everywhere, They all deserve to have their space and to be safe from you and your boats. So there's lots of laws and regulations and guidelines wherever you live on the coast. In this regard, this is involved with boats with motors, boats without motors, like kayaks or paddleboards, being in the water. That the regulations with swimming with animals varies everywhere, but also just like the last time a gray whale was here 10 years ago, people were like, let's swim to it. And we're like, don't do that. And then it also does involve the air. If you have a drone, there are regulations about limits to how close you can get to a whale from the air. So familiarize yourself with the guidelines in your area or wherever you're going whale watching. BeWhaleWows.org. The Marine Education Research Society has a great program called See It Below, Go Slow. Anywhere you're going that has whales is going to have guidelines. So check them out and be sure to follow them and know your distances. Are you do you need to stay a minke whale length away or a blue whale length away? They're different. don't be like this Norwegian guy and estimate your length so poorly.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. The end. Be safe, please, because they can also hurt you.
And that is the end of our episode.
Hooray!
We would love to hear your thoughts on this or any episode, so please visit our website, whale-tales.org, to find links to all of our social media handles where you can drop us a line.
You can also head to our website to subscribe to the podcast. You can learn about supporting us and becoming a patron, and you can check out over 1,500 whale, dolphin, and porpoise stories.
And that is whale-tales.org, tales like the stories, not tales like the animals.
And if you've seen a cetacean in the wild, we would love to add your story to our library. You can click the share link on our website. You can contact us on social media at whaletales_org, or you can even email us a voice memo and tell us all about your incredible cetacean encounter.
Finally, we want to acknowledge that we recorded today's episode on the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples and the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Shianu, and Sauk nations.
Thanks, everybody, and have a whaley great day.
Yay!
Bye!